Sarah from Japan, and I'm walking on my way home. It's raining, and I'm going to do a video on my dream that I had in last July. And the reason it's significant is because the Lord allowed me to see just a glimpse of what people here who, don't get to go to heaven are going to go through. And it scared the daylights out of me, actually. It scared me to where I woke up in a sweat. And I've never forgotten it. And it's partly the reason why I decided to get more aggressive with my evangelism. Okay, so here it goes. In the beginning of July, okay, I had this dream one night that we were suddenly in heaven. I was up there in heaven, and I was standing there, okay, and there was a bunch of people. There were my children, and my Fijian friend was up there, and some other people. I recognized them, but then there were other people I didn't recognize, and I noticed that there was a big crowd of people, and we were all wearing white, and there were children up there, and and older gentlemen and whatnot. But anyway, we were standing up there. It looked like clouds or something. I don't know. I don't really remember too much about that, but I do remember that the Lord allowed me to look down. He said, "Look down upon the earth." And so I looked down upon the earth, and it was like suddenly I could see the earth, but it was like under a magnifying glass where I could see everyone really, really well. But from heaven, It's like he let the floor of the heaven kind of open up, and I could look down, right? And I saw the earth, and it was like there was smoke and fire, and there was kind of like an orangish, reddish, brownish hue to everything, And I saw one of my sisters running, and with one of my brothers. And those two were running away, and they kept looking over their shoulder, and they looked terrified. They were running from something. I couldn't see what. And then I saw my other sister, and what I saw just terrified me, and it convicted me so badly. And I woke up scared and crying because she was on her knees. She was just, the other two, they ran, but she was on her knees. And she was sobbing and wailing and just screaming, "Where are my children? Where are my children? My God, where are my children? My children! Somebody help me! Somebody help me! Like that, my children are gone! My children are gone!" Like that. She's just screaming, and she was just like, in agony, and just tears streaming down her face, and she was just, why, like that, and screaming. And then I heard a voice behind me, kind of a deep voice that was kind of I don't know, very stern. It says, "You let this happen. She's down there suffering because you let it happen. You didn't tell her. You weren't bold with my gospel. You didn't tell her the truth like she needed to hear it. You were too worried about what she thought. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, my Lord, I'm sorry." And then I woke up. Alright, and I woke up crying, and with that image just seared into my heart, of my sister crying. And it was true, I had been, evangelizing kind of on Facebook and writing messages and telling people to seek the Lord and stuff, but I hadn't really been addressing my family because, we grew up in very difficult circumstances, and they don't believe in the Lord. They've never really been to church. I have. And, I don't know, it's just like when we were growing up, we were all really, really busy ourselves just trying to survive. We had a very difficult childhood. And so we kind of, I don't know, we just we didn't really pay attention to each other's suffering, I guess. And so, I wasn't really that great of a big sister. I was the oldest daughter. But I don't think I was a very good sister. I mean, I really never tried to lead my sister or, either of my sisters, And I don't know, we were all just kind of loners in our own little worlds, just trying to cope with what was going on around us. And so we never really, we lived together and we know each other's secrets, but in reality, there's no real intimacy between us, you know? So, you know, I didn't feel like I could share, you know, like they would just totally reject me, you know? And I'm kind of the weird one of the family, you know? I'm the odd one out. I've always been the odd one out, you know? I have a totally different outlook on things, and so, you know, it made it kind of even more difficult, I guess. I just felt like they just, you know, wouldn't accept me, or, you know, they would just reject me and the message, you know? And so I didn't really push it with them. They saw that I had videos on Facebook and stuff, but I didn't really, you know, really talk to them directly about it. Anyway, I felt really, really convicted, and I tried to share more on her wall and actually send her, you know, messages and things talking about the gospel. And, you know, for a while she kind of listened, but then she kind of, you know, she just, eventually though, she unfriended me. But on that day though, right before she unfriended me, I was flipping through the Bible randomly, which I used to do sometimes. You know, we kind of play like Russian roulette. You just flip over and, okay, ask God, okay, reveal to me what you want me to you know, learn today. And we were doing it, I was doing it that way, and I flipped open to the book of Ezekiel, to Ezekiel 33. And this is the first time I really paid attention to that passage. You know, because up until then it didn't really, you know, it was like Jewish history, didn't really pertain to myself, right? But then it said you're a watchman, and if you do not warn the people, you know, that their blood is on your hands, right? And so I saw that and I read that really carefully, and then my sister started complaining about the posts that she kept seeing me, you know, put on Facebook about, you know, the end times and about how people need to get right with Jesus or else they're going to suffer. You know, and she said, you know, I can't take anymore. And one of my other friends got on there and commented on one of her comments, you know, and said, look, Sarah's a watchman. And so that was like the second time I heard it. You know, so that pretty much confirmed it for me, that I was a watchman. So I started, you know, preaching the gospel to her, and eventually she unfriended me. And so for a long time she didn't speak to me. But after about, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months, she came to me with a friend request and wanted to you know, to be my friend on Facebook anyway. We're sisters, but it was kind of really, you know, it was really difficult for me to be cut off by my sister. But anyway, so she kind of refriended me, but we haven't really been communicating still, you know, like it's hit and miss, and there's times when I'll comment and she just never on what a picture that she's posted of her kids or whatever, and there's just times where she just doesn't respond at all for like months, where she doesn't respond to me. She totally ignores me, you know, and then she'll put on the Facebook, you know, like she has no family that cares for her, or, you know, she feels all alone because she's divorced and she's got 3 kids. You know, and she's got all these issues in her life, and she feels like she's all alone. And I keep on telling her I'm here, but she doesn't respond sometimes. And so I think it's because she's uncomfortable with that. But anyway, she's the reason I got more aggressive with the gospel, and I felt so convicted and so guilty that she was, you know, that I got saved and I was up in heaven, and there was my sister and the other one's running and with my brother, and I didn't see the other siblings. You know, I didn't see any of them. I don't know what happened to them. But that was my dream. That was my vision. You know? So, what I saw happening on the earth, I didn't see. I knew that it must have been war. War must have broken out or something. All that fire, all that orange, weird light, all the smoke. Must have been, I don't know, maybe an earthquake happened. I don't know what happened, but that's what I saw. Anyway, this concludes my vision of what I saw pertaining to the end times. I don't have visions very often. I don't have dreams very often about that kind of thing. My son had an interesting dream, though. On this month, the 14th, the morning of, he woke me up, you know, and he said, "Mommy, I had a dream." I said, oh yeah? And he goes, yeah. I had a dream that a tsunami came. And it was, the water was rushing up the street, but it was only, you know, it was really shallow. And the people, they weren't screaming or running or anything, but they were just really surprised, and, you know, they were talking amongst themselves, saying, well, that's weird that the water would come up this far, you know? And that was the end of what he told me, right? And I thought about it, I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird. Because he doesn't have dreams like that, you know? So, I mean, I would expect it for a dream from my daughter. My daughter has some pretty cool dreams I'll have to tell you about in another video, but my son Nikki usually doesn't. Anyway, later that day, there was a 7.4 that hit Iwate Prefecture. There was a tsunami. Yeah, that went up from the northern part of Japan into Hokkaido. It was pretty crazy. The very same morning, he had a dream about a tsunami, and it happened, and it was a shallow tsunami. That was weird. And then after that, we had a series of very large earthquakes. We had about 8 really, really big earthquakes, including one that rocked close to our house. I mean, it was really scary. We thought, you know, half that night I didn't sleep. I thought, man, we're going to be hit by another huge earthquake tonight, and we couldn't sleep. But that was his dream. He dreamt that there would be a tsunami the morning before it happened. Totally weird. Anyway, so that concludes my